The cold London rain drizzled over Buckingham Palace, but Royal Guard Henry Clark stood firm, unmoving, his stoic face betraying no emotion. It had been 6 years of duty, 6 years of suppressing his grief, 6 years since he had lost his wife and unborn child in a tragic accident. The world saw him as an unshakable figure, but inside he was a man crumbling, living only through routine. He had promised his late wife he would protect the country, but who was protecting him from his own despair? And then, one fateful afternoon, Florence Pugh walked past. The Oscar-nominated actress, known for her warmth and infectious energy, had just finished an interview nearby. As she strolled past the guards, a playful breeze caught her scarf, lifting it into the air. It drifted toward Henry. Breaking protocol for the first time in his career, Henry instinctively caught the scarf before it hit the wet pavement. A simple action, yet the crowd gasped. Royal Guards never moved. Florence smiled. "Thank you." He gave a subtle nod, expecting the moment to pass. But then she looked deeper. Unlike the tourists laughing or clicking pictures, her eyes held concern. "You okay?" she asked softly. Henry, ever the professional, remained silent, but something about that moment lingered. Someone had seen him, really seen him. That evening, Florence posted about the encounter on social media. It wasn't about breaking protocol. It was about noticing someone who had been invisible for too long. Her post read, "Sometimes we think the strongest people don't need saving, but what if they do? Today I met a Royal Guard who caught my scarf, but I felt like I caught something more. His silence. We often thank them for their duty, but when was the last time we asked how they were?" The post went viral. Messages flooded in from people appreciating the guards, sharing their own struggles of grief, loneliness, and feeling unseen. Among them was Henry's estranged younger brother Daniel, who hadn't spoken to him since the tragedy. "Is this you, Henry? If it is, we need to talk. I miss you." For the first time in years, Henry felt something stir within him. Days later, Florence was invited to Buckingham Palace for a private event. As she walked past the same post where Henry had stood, she stopped. This time, Henry looked at her without the barrier of silence. "I read your post," he admitted. Florence smiled. And, for the first time in 6 years, Henry let out a deep breath, as if exhaling all the pain he had swallowed. "It made me remember that I was alive." Encouraged by the viral support, Henry sought grief counseling for the first time. He reunited with his brother. Slowly, he learned that being strong didn't mean being silent, and all because a stranger had cared enough to notice. A month later, Florence was invited on a talk show where she was asked about the post. Instead of just talking about it, she did something unexpected. She invited Henry onto the show. The studio audience erupted in applause as he stepped onto the stage in his Royal Guard uniform, but this time his eyes weren't hollow anymore. He wasn't just a silent figure. He was a man with a story. With a steady voice, Henry addressed the crowd. "We stand still because it's our duty, but sometimes stillness can turn into silence, and silence can turn into pain. One person noticed me, and that was enough to remind me that I still matter. Maybe we should all take a moment to see the people we ignore every day." The clip exploded online, inspiring millions. The movement See the Unseen started trending, encouraging people to reach out to those who might be suffering in silence. Henry, once just a figure in the background, had become a symbol of resilience and hope. A year later, Henry stood at his post once more. But now he carried a secret smile, not because of fame, not because of change, but because this time he was truly present. And somewhere in the bustling city of London, Florence Pugh scrolled through a message on her phone. A young woman had written, I was going to end my life today, but I saw Henry's story. I decided to ask for help instead. Thank you for showing me I'm not invisible." Florence wiped a tear. The small act of a caught scarf had saved lives, and neither of them would ever be the same again.